Why does almost the entire planet, most of it far from America, much of it at odds with America, still run on the United States dollar? Consider what that dominance actually looks like. The dollar sits on one side of roughly 88% of all the currency trades on Earth. Around half of all international loans and more than half of all global trade are counted in dollars, even though the United States is only about 1/10 of the world's trade. When a company in Chile buys goods from a company in Korea, the odds are they settle the deal in neither peso nor won, but in dollars. So how did the money of one country become the money of the world? And is that a privilege America earns, or one the rest of the world is quietly trying to escape? To understand it, you have to go back to a resort in New Hampshire in July 1944. The Second World War was not yet over, but delegates from 44 nations were already gathered at Bretton Woods to design the peace that would follow. They built a system with the dollar at its center. Every currency would be pegged to the dollar, and the dollar alone would be pegged to gold at $35 an ounce. The United States held most of the world's gold, and so its currency became, in effect, as good as gold. But that gold promise did not last. By 1971, America was spending heavily, gold was flowing out of its vaults, and the pledge was breaking. On the 15th of August that year, President Nixon went on television and suspended the dollar's convertibility into gold, quietly ending the very thing that had made it special. And here is the strange part. The dollar was no longer backed by anything you could hold, and its dominance did not shrink. It grew. Part of the reason was oil. In the 1970s, as oil prices exploded, the world's most important commodity was bought and sold almost everywhere in dollars. Oil-producing states earned dollars and poured them back into American assets, a cycle people called petrodollar recycling. It's worth pausing here because a myth has grown up around this. There was no secret 50-year treaty forcing the world to price oil in dollars, and no such deal expired in 2024, whatever the internet claimed. The arrangement was informal, but its effect was real. It tied the lifeblood of the global economy to the American currency. And once a currency becomes the default, something powerful takes over, the network effect. You hold dollars because everyone else does. You invoice in dollars because your suppliers expect it. Behind that habit sits the deepest, most liquid financial market on Earth, the market for US government debt, a vast pool of assets the world treats as the closest thing to perfectly safe. No rival comes close. The euro is split across many governments. China's yuan is held back by capital controls and makes up only about 2% of global reserves. A French finance minister once called America's position an exorbitant privilege, the unique power to borrow from the whole world cheaply in money you alone can print. But that privilege has a sharp edge, and this is where an honest essay has to give the other side, because the same system lets Washington turn money into a weapon. When Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, the West froze around $300 billion of Russian reserves at the stroke of a pen. The world noticed. If your dollars can be switched off, then holding them is not only safety, it is exposure. There is a deeper problem too, one economists named the Triffin dilemma. To supply the world with enough dollars, America must run endless deficits, which, over time, can erode faith in the very currency everyone depends on. Even at home, critics argue the strong dollar has hollowed out American factories, the hidden cost of hosting the world's money. So the world has begun, cautiously, to diversify. Central banks have been buying gold at the fastest pace in half a century, more than 1,000 tons a year, 3 years running. Russia and China increasingly trade in their own currencies. The BRICS nations talk loudly about alternatives. And yet, the honest picture is not collapse, but slow drift. The dollar's share of global reserves has fallen from over 70% in 2000 to around 57% today. That is erosion, not exile. The diversification is flowing into many currencies and into gold, not into a single successor waiting to take the throne. For now, there simply isn't one, which brings us back to where we started. The dollar rules not because it is backed by gold, nor by any treaty, but by something harder to seize and harder to replace. Trust, habit, depth, and the absence of a rival. It is a crown built on confidence. And the real question the dollar leaves us with is the one every empire eventually faces. Not whether the confidence is deserved today, but how long it can last. This was the story of the dollar, told the Sankofa way. Go back and get it. If it moved you, tell us in the comments whose story we should tell next. Until then, stay upright.